What is going on, San Antonio? Welcome to the church. This is the Fantasy Gods. I'm your man, Brandon Big Poppy Medina, here with my man, Rudy Campos. How are we doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm trying to recover from a couple of drafts last night that I told you about earlier. I'm still shocked and bad.
Rudy's recovering from drafts. Me and our producer, Joe Garcia, are recovering from a lot of alcohol.
Some libations that we
right.
indulged in yesterday.
You were talking about absinthe. What is it? What did you call it? The Green
Fairy, bro.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
Goodness
man.
gracious.
Because you'd hallucinate.
Have you ever drafted drunk?
I'm pretty sure I have. I'm pretty sure most of us have.
For sure.
I was going to say, for whatever reason, I'd rather stay drunk during work, but when I'm drafting, I have to stay alert, and I'm drinking coffee and water. I don't want to be drunk.
Oh, I got that. All right. So
I don't know why drafting is more important than work and all this other stuff.
Work? Yeah, no, I draft. I try to draft as right under the legal limit, but right there. You know what I mean? That gray area. So I'll be drinking
on the cusp.
Around the cusp. Exactly. I'll be drinking quite a bit today. It is going to be draft day for a lot of people this weekend, and this week is crucial. These are the biggest draft days of the year. A lot of people want to wait to see about injuries, about news, about drops, about additions to teams. And we have some major news and major implications that could play into that. Before we get into the big news, let's talk a little bit about a few others. So I know Kendre Miller is dealing with a hamstring injury over there in New Orleans with the Saints. That could impact some stuff if you're looking at Alvin Kamara. But the biggest news that we found out over the past week since we did the Fantasy Guys, which we'll get into how incredible that win last week, but Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver who was going just a few weeks ago in the top 5, top 6 of drafts for sure within the top 10, has now suffered a hamstring injury. It's been lingering. They said it wouldn't be too bad, but now news is coming out that it could be a little bit worse. We're just a few days out from the regular season. I believe when it comes to being a week and a half, 2 weeks out of the regular season where this news started to come out, week 1 starting to get put into question. And with that and hamstring injuries, wide receivers, we've seen this many times. It could be a lingering injury throughout the season. Rudy, does this impact where you should draft Cooper Kupp and your outlook on the season for Cooper Kupp?
So hamstring injuries are going to be lingering. They always happen, especially with the receivers, running back, stuff like that. But what it does to Cooper Kupp is, it devalues him in some people's minds only because you see week 1 missing. That is a very, very huge no-no for people that are drafting. It doesn't say IR. Doesn't say anything like that. He's not going to miss the first 4 games. It's day to day. So I think what it is, if he misses week one, it's just going to be for precautionary reasons. He probably is ready. He's just not 100% ready. They don't want to chance it. It's a very long NFL season. Week 1 is week 1. Do not let you deter from drafting Cooper Kupp high in the first round.
No, I agree. I think Cooper Kupp is one of those guys that's probably in your home leagues for novices who maybe do not focus a lot on fantasy football or, play one time a year with friends and family. I don't think this is going to affect it. Still expect Cooper Kupp to go in that first round. For you fantasy football players who are like Rudy and I and Joe and I, all of us who have multiple leagues and dive deep into this stuff and really enjoy this. Rudy, going crazy with like 35 leagues. I'm in about 10. If you have more than 2, more than 3 leagues and you get into those competitive ones, maybe your competitive leagues are this week, today, before kickoff, whatever the case. When it comes to that, I think you will see Cooper Kupp slide into that second round. Maybe you'll see a third Cooper Kupp, which at that point is a massive value. But I think realistically, I would expect if you're in a competitive league, don't bank on it, right? ADP changes and fluctuates every day. But realistically, if you're in a competitive league where people know what they're doing, they're focused on the news, I do think Cooper Kupp will be going in the second round, which in turn allows you to maybe swing on that running back, right? Maybe take a swing on somebody else that maybe you wouldn't. So that's a big, big thing going on in fantasy football. Cooper Kupp right now went from, I think, a top 5 pick on ESPN Live Draft Trends is now at the number 8 pick, so still in that top 10 area. Let me give you some names real quick, and let's see what you would do. Are you drafting Cooper Kupp still with this injury over Devontae Adams?
Yes. Barely, but yes.
Are you drafting Cooper Kupp over Stephon Diggs?
No. I'm taking Diggs over Kupp.
Are you drafting Cooper Kupp over CeeDee Lamb or Garrett Wilson?
Yes, 100%.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Okay. Sounds good. What about A.J. Brown?
100%.
Okay. There you go.
And with A.J. Brown, it's so hard because you have so many factors with the Eagles wide receiving core. And it sucks because I have A.J. Brown in our league as well. I kept him as a keeper. But you've got Devontae Smith. You've got Jalen Hurts. But the thing with Hurts is that he's a running QB as well.
Right.
So he's going to run with his legs. You still have DeAndre Swift there. You've got so many mouths to feed that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, that wide receiver tandem is so hard to determine where to draft.
Right.
Unless you're going like a rookie's coming in saying, he's going first round, second round. I'm going to get him there. So it's kind of hard to determine where A.J. Brown really is.
Yeah, and I also think if we're being real, I don't think it happens. Devontae Smith has a real opportunity to also maybe prove himself just as much. He's not getting the same quality targets that A.J. Brown's getting, but could still beat his ADP and finish as like a very close wide receiver to the A.J. Brown.
Yeah, if you've got A.J. Brown at number 10, Devontae Smith is 11. I mean,
like it could finish that high. Yeah,
it's wide receiver 1A, wide receiver 1B is what it is. So that's why either one of those guys is going to be good. I think you're going to get equal value for one, no matter what. So if you've seen Devontae Smith drop, which he's been dropping to, I think, 3rd, 4th round.
Yep.
You definitely want to pick him up around that time.
Whoever scores the most touchdowns is whoever gets the most fantasy output. But with that, Joe Garcia, sir, how are we doing? Our producer in arms over here.
Doing good, man. We're doing really good, man.
Are we still recovering from the craft beer of Mad Pecker Brewing Company from last week? What a fun time.
Yeah, that was a great time, man. It was great going out there to Mad Pecker, meeting the owner, and not only that, but meeting some of the peeps that came out.
Yeah. I mean, if you weren't there, we'll definitely hopefully try to get something out there again or at another sponsor for sure. But I know Mad Pecker is, of course, our title sponsor. Let's get that out of the way. We want to make sure we show them some love. We were there last week. Had a fun time. Rudy Campos was out there with us, me, Joe, Mike Jimenez. We had Mike Baez from Bear County Social Apparel. We had everybody out there. A lot of really cool drinks, all hip-hop enthusiastic and named. The food was delicious. Yeah. We had listeners come to our show like 15 to 20 minutes before the place even opened. And I mean, the owner was gracious to let them in. So, I mean, it was definitely a fun time. We had people drafting there. Shout out to my boys, Mark, OC, Josh, Jaime, all those guys over there. Drafting, Say, all those guys. It was a fun time. We really, really want to encourage you guys to make it out. We're very much intrigued to meet all of our listeners, hear your questions, see how we can help out as well. And so Matt Pecker Brewing Company, again, the house sponsor for here at the Fantasy Gods. And of course, we have Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee Shop. Mudslingers, you just mentioned, when it's draft day, you don't drink, you drink coffee. You got to stay lasered and stay focused. Oh, yeah. Mudslingers is your place to stay focused. They have incredible drinks, even better treats, and they're great people. Go check out Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Why would you go grab coffee any other place? And we always mention it, home of the Alien. One of your favorite drinks, Rudy.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, it's Wemby time. It's Wemby time in San Antonio. What better way to celebrate than with the Alien from Mudslingers?
That's right. They're also doing a drink sponsored for UTSA and Frank Harris over there, who didn't get the W, but we're still supporting UTSA over here. Make sure you go check that out, the Sub-Zero drink over there. And we have Bear County Social Apparel. We just mentioned them. Our boy Mike Baez over there, Bear County Social Apparel. He was giving us some insight into some new things he's doing and some new designs. Really cool stuff coming out soon. Do not go missing here in San Antonio, because Bear County Social Apparel is everything San Antonio sports, from the Spurs to the Brahmas to UTSA. I love to see, I told him, I said, hey, can we get some mission stuff maybe? You know what I mean? Like let's get some baseball stuff in there too. Does some Astros things and all that. But Mike Baez and Bear County Social Apparel are also proud sponsors of the Fantasy Gods. So, Rudy Campos, it is a big time to be talking about drafts, right? We said this is the biggest day, one of the biggest days, along with the next 4 days, 4 drafts. Let's talk about rankings as far as when is it too late to go wide receiver, running back, all that stuff. We talked a little bit about tight end, right, on our last show over there at Mad Pecker.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, it's always talked about as a deep class every year. How deep is it really? There will be tier breaks, of course.
Yeah.
When is it too late to draft a wide receiver 1, and what names are you comfortable in that later picks, 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds, whatever, for a wide receiver 1? What names are you comfortable at your wide receiver 1?
So obviously you're going to get with the better ones. It's going to be, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp's another one in there. I mean, you get the Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, those guys. I think that tier after Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase is like tier 2, where you're getting into Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Everything from tier 3 to tier 4 to tier 5 is going to be a lot closer to what a lot of people think. I had the pleasure of drafting in 2 standard non-PPR leagues last night, and wide receivers didn't mean nothing in that league at all. But nonetheless, I mean, look late, man. There's one guy in particular that keeps going late, and I was able to draft him late in a lot of these drafts that I did the other day. Amari Cooper, wide receiver 1 in Cleveland. He's got Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
So that guy, for whatever reason, why he's dropping so late, I have no idea.
At the end of the 4th to 5th term.
Exactly. I was able to get him in round 6 last night.
Whoa.
So, I mean, the value on Amari Cooper is hot. He's a wide receiver 1. The other guy I see falling to is Chris Olave from New Orleans. For whatever reason, he's around 3rd, 4th. Now I've seen him go into the 5th as well. So those two guys are guys that you're going to get late. You're going to get good wide receiver play all the way down to maybe the top 40 guys. So that's 40 receivers that you're going to get good play from all year. Elite play, no, but they're going to be difference makers for you. But if you're drafting that late and getting your wide receiver 1, you should be having that Travis Kelce or those top wide.
Yeah, you better have a top running
so
back. Yeah.
Don't just wait for a receiver late unless you're getting top talent everywhere else.
If you're drafting a wide receiver in the 3rd round, that means most likely either you have a Kelce or you have a top running back and a top quarterback already locked in and solidified.
Yeah.
A wide receiver that I'd be comfortable with that I've had in other leagues as my number 1 is DK Metcalf going in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I like DK. He has the upside for a top 10 season. We've seen him do it before. Geno Smith looked great. Also, though, I think somebody else who I do like is Devontae Smith, who we talked about, who could definitely be somebody that finishes there. He might not be in the wide receiver 10 category, but he might be a top 12 wide receiver, which is still very much doable if you have some of those top guys. And he's going in the 3rd to 4th turn, so sometimes in the 4th round. Another one I'm interested in, just to kind of mention it, I don't know that I'm comfortable enough to bank on him as my wide receiver 1, but he is there. We've seen him have a great year. We've seen how he's been utilized. Deebo Samuel.
I was just going to mention him.
Yeah. Deebo Samuel, someone that I've seen plenty of people go running back, quarterback, and then take Deebo Samuel. And that also could mean that you have, a Josh Jacobs and a McCaffrey, and then maybe you have a Hurts or Allen or Mahomes, and then now you have Deebo Samuel. That's a dangerous squad.
That is, but can you really trust Deebo with, again, it's the Eagles mindset all over again. There's so many mouths to feed. You've got Christian McCaffrey, you've got Deebo, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got George Kittle. I mean, and then you've got Brock Purdy at quarterback. Now we saw what Brock Purdy did last year, but how is Shanahan going to utilize Deebo? When he first got there, he utilized Deebo fantastic.
Right.
But we didn't see that last year. Are we going to see the same Deebo from years past? Or are we going to see the same Deebo from last year? McCaffrey screwed that whole thing up when he got there.
Yep. I mean, McCaffrey definitely has added a different side of fantasy, right, for the 49ers. McCaffrey is easily going to be a top 4 pick. I think I've seen him fall to 5. Actually the live draft that we had there at our Matt Becker Brewing Company, the listeners who came out, my cousin Josh was on that squad, and his wife, my cousin Jules, drafted McCaffrey at 5. He slid down. In that league, perfect example, I see our boys Josh and OC actually listening to the show, but with that, they're both in that league. McCaffrey dropped because somebody in that league, right? A lot of the same people, some UT fandom, whatever. I think Bijan, if I'm standing corrected, went number 2, which again, you and I talked last week.
Yeah.
You can make a case for any of those top guys in the top 10 because if you're picking at 1 through 3, those people are not coming back to you in the second round. So if you need a swing and you think Bijan's going to be, the running back 1, running back 2, and you need to take an absolute shot, I have no problem with you taking it. It was just crazy to see because you had a solidified prospect in McCaffrey who's always there going number 5 versus going number 2 or 3 normally in drafts. So you can get value in those redraft leagues that you do with your family and friends. Definitely something to keep in mind. What about running back, man? Running back is how weak is this running back class to previous years? How strong is it? What do you think about the running back class this year?
Well, with the running back class, I want to ask you something real quick on the receivers before we go into running back here, because this is kind of a weak running back class. But when I mentioned the name CeeDee Lamb to you, for me, it scares the hell out of me with CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
We don't see a whole lot of great play out of Dak. Now, CeeDee's going to have some touchdowns. He's going to get his receptions. He's going to get slant routes. But
of course,
is it safe to make the argument that for me, Brandon Cooks is a more trustable, more important receiver on that Dallas squad?
I think for the value, maybe I'm still taking CeeDee Lamb where he's going. I do think his ADP is fine. He finished wide receiver 5 last year, extremely consistent, had a 38-point game. He only finished 2 games with less than 12 fantasy points. And so I like CeeDee Lamb where he's at. I get the questions of Dak. If he has another quarterback, we're talking about this guy as a top 6 player.
If you give him one of the top quarterbacks in the league,
100%.
he's probably drafted 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, CeeDee Lamb has massive talent. Brandon Cooks on the other side has kind of been he's always been consistent for fantasy, but kind of been out of the limelight because he's played on 2 teams where he wasn't really that guy, right? Mm-hmm. Houston was never going to be great, but he even then was fantasy relevant on Houston. with the Rams, was also fantasy relevant, but was never a top guy. Brandon Cooks is going super late. So if you miss on CeeDee Lamb, who's also going around, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, and now probably Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
If you're swinging on those guys, which again, I actually have them, all three of those guys ranked higher, and Devontae Adams. I have CeeDee Lamb around my 6 wide receiver, so that I like 7, one of the 2. But if you miss on CeeDee, which is very possible in San Antonio, Texas, with a ton of Cowboys fans, right? He might be going way earlier. If you miss on CeeDee, I think Brandon Cooks is a viable wide receiver 2 in that offense that could possibly launch himself into a top 30 wide receiver season, given that CeeDee Lamb is now a polished player and is going to be taking double teams pretty consistently.
And that's the reason why, is because you're going to look at, you've got a deep threat with Michael Gallup there as well.
Who's also your last pick if you want to take a shot on him on any draft.
If you need a late wide receiver, Michael Gallup's another one. But what I like with Brandon Cooks is that CeeDee's going to take so much attention off of Brandon Cooks. You're going to see Brandon Cooks, I think, get more receptions. He's going to be more on the slant. He's going to get more of the dink and dunk type stuff.
Yep.
He's going to get so many receptions. It's not even funny. Now, the production on the touchdown value is probably not going to be there.
Yeah.
But if you're in a PPR league and you're getting a point per reception, in some leagues, I think Brandon Cooks is still going to get easily 7-8 receptions a game. So that's 7-8 points, not including the yardage. So that's why I think Brandon Cooks late, where he's going, is absolute perfect. He's a steal. Is he going to have a better season than CeeDee Lamb? Production-wise, touchdown-wise, no, he's not. But I think as far as receptions go, you might be hand in hand for CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks.
So let me just play this game. I like doing this with you, man. I like doing this with the people out there. If you're listening, comment. If you're here, like Rudy, definitely let me know, man. So Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Let me give you some wide receivers going around that time frame. Now, this kid, I'm only going to go about 4 wide receivers up and 4 wide receivers back. I'm just going to put it in that range, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking at him. Are you taking Brandon Cooks? Or are you taking George Pickens? He's going wide receiver 32. I'm looking just at ESPN's
Brandon
live
Cooks.
draft trends. Okay.
Brandon Cooks.
Wow. I'm definitely going Pickens. Marquise Hollywood Brown. Okay, I'm going Brown as well. Christian Kirk or Michael Pittman over Brandon Cooks?
Cooks over Pittman. And I'm going to take Kirk over Cooks barely.
Okay, so those 4 names are going before Brandon Cooks as far as live draft trends.
Yeah.
Let me talk about the 4 going after him because it's getting really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe even the 5. Look at this. Check this out. Cortland Sutton or Brandon Cooks?
Sutton.
Okay, so I agree. Jahan Dotson or Brandon Cooks?
Cooks.
I'm going Dotson for sure. Jackson Smith and Jigba or Brandon Cooks?
Cooks.
Okay. Sky Moore or Jordan Addison over Brandon Cooks? Those are interesting
Addison,
ones.
I would take Addison over Cooks.
I agree.
Only because of the value there with Kirk Cousins. And I think Justin Jefferson is just going to make Jordan Addison look extremely stupid in that offense. He's going to make a lot of catches. Now we're talking, who was the other guy you said?
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore. That's a tricky one. I have Sky Moore going to be the wide receiver 1 in Kansas City at the end of the year.
The potential
So
is there.
I'm taking Sky Moore over Cooks.
Okay. I get what you're saying, though. Cooks is there. You also have Zay Flowers going later on after that. Gabe Smith.
Again, Zay Flowers over Cooks.
Yeah.
Only because I think at the end of the season, he's a wide receiver.
You're
1
looking
for
at the boom bust play, potential later on, especially going to playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So I do like Brandon Cooks still as a late pick. I mean, you talk about CeeDee Lamb. Are you taking Garrett Wilson over CeeDee Lamb?
That's a tough one, man.
Come
you know
on,
what?
baby.
I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb over Garrett Wilson only because the offensive line for the Jets is still not what it needs to be.
You taking Devontae over CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of where I said he was my wide receiver 6 or 7. He's going wide receiver 7 on ESPN.
Yeah.
What about A.J. Brown over CeeDee Lamb?
Ooh, wow. I'm taking CeeDee Lamb over
Okay,
AJ
here's the one that I think will be close. Or not close. Maybe to you it's a quick one. I like it to be pretty close. Amon-Ra St. Brown over CeeDee Lamb.
You know what? Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. They very much are similar players. So wide receiver talks, man. It's definitely going to be you. Here's what I will say. If you're drafting today, which I am, I'm drafting with a bunch of friends and family coming to my place. We're going to be in the pool. We're drafting. We do have a beer bitch this year because of the last place. So somebody will be grabbing us drinks. We don't have to be doing any of that. But I will say, if you're doing a draft, what I've been seeing, what I've been doing that's been helping, a lot of players who were quote unquote sleepers are not so sleepy anymore, right? Everybody knows about them. We're getting to that point where everybody knows about who you like, who I like, who the next player likes, all that stuff, especially if you're friends you've been drafting together. So I would have 2 to 3 players queued up for you to kind of either lose out on or go, because if you're going full tilt mode on some of these quicker platforms like Sleeper, if you're going full tilt mode on Underdog Fantasy, which is 30 seconds in the best ball leagues, I mean, you don't have time to think that quick. So you need to have it queued up. Hey, I want CeeDee Lamb with my next pick. You should also have queued up Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and whoever falls to you, take it as is. Let the draft work in your order. So running backs, though. Running backs are going to be fun. Let's talk about running backs real quick. It looks like we do have a comment, though, sir. Is that true? Do we have a few comments over there? We have a few emojis of people showing some love on the streams. There we go. But with running backs, how far back can you go on running back? This is kind of where people start. This is kind of the draft that most people would do. I think it's harder to do 0 wide receiver sets and going running back heavy versus doing the 0 RB stuff.
So in past years, like we've been saying, running backs in past years have been, the elite. You've got to go get a running back. There's a, a good amount of running backs that you can get there, but you had to get a wide receiver at some time because, you only had a certain amount of elite wide receivers.
Right.
Well, we're in the upside down, Stranger Things basically now. Everything's backward.
I like that.
Now, the problem with running backs is there's not a lot of elite ones out there.
Nope.
There's productive ones. So you've only got maybe
Say it
what,
one more time.
3.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
There are not a lot of elite running backs. There are only productive ones. And
Smart man.
I'm talking, you say, well, Rudy, you got Joe Mixon, explosive offense. He's productive. You got Aaron Jones. He's productive. Kenneth Walker, K9, he's there. He's productive. That's the problem. Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. I mean, there's really not much after that.
We talked about it. We said if you're not taking McCaffrey, Eckler, or Bijan,
and even Bijan's skeptical. Let's not
from a Falcons fan.
Let's not stroke the Bijan. I've drafted Bijan in probably 4 leagues already.
Stroke what? Excuse me. Finish that sentence. No, let's not stroke that ego though.
We're definitely not. I'm not riding high on Bijan yet. Why? Because he still has a basically rookie quarterback in Desmond Ridder.
Right.
If you stack the box, Bijan ain't going anywhere. You're going to make him throw. If he's going to throw and you pressure him, his security blanket is Kyle Pitts. His next receiver is Drake London. Then it's Bijan. You don't have time for Bijan to run out of the backfield. So if Bijan's going to play more slant route, Bijan's going to get a lot more looks. But I'm still not sold completely on Bijan right now, so I can't put him up there with McCaffrey or Eckler until I get a few weeks in.
Gotcha. Okay, I like that. Well, McCaffrey, Eckler, Bijan, Saquon, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, and Travis Etienne is the live draft trends for the top 10 running backs. As you can see, a severe drop-off after like the 4th name. So with that, Derrick Henry is somebody that I really am interested in, only because eventually he's going to stop being Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Could it be this year? I still don't know. The dude just constantly is a top 10 running back, has huge weeks. I think he was running back 4 last year. Just a dominant player as a whole.
Yeah.
In an offense that doesn't have much offense, but now has DeAndre Hopkins, right? So, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a huge opportunity there. Derrick Henry also caught a few passes last year, which is interesting.
It's weird.
But Derrick Henry in a non-PPR setting, which you've done a few standard leagues,
should be
where
number 1.
He's going up there, right? We're talking about top 3 pick.
Yeah. So in a non-PPR standard league, Derrick Henry should be number 1, no questions asked, because it's based off of rushing.
Right.
It's based off of production of touchdowns, stuff like that. They don't get any reception. So you know what? That's perfect. Right up there with where Derrick Henry is. So then you look at running backs in non-PPR standard leagues. You got Derrick Henry. You got guys. Aaron Jones would be another one. Joe Mixon gets a lot of carries.
Right.
These guys are more valuable. Christian McCaffrey actually drops down to 5th or 6th on that kind of league. Why? Because of the receptions. You don't get any PPR points for it. Yep. So guys like Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, those guys go from 1, 2, 3 down to like 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with non-PPR. But running backs in this year, I'm going to tell you right now, wide receivers are the sexy picks. Running backs are what's going to win you your fantasy league at the end.
Yep.
So you've got to get the productive backs. If you get a Christian McCaffrey, you best hope that you can get, the wide receivers that you want coming back around and get a running back later. I mean, look at some of the running backs that are going late, man. I mean, I'm going to throw his name. We've been shitting on this guy pretty much all off season.
All right.
But you've got to go get a Miles Sanders late in any draft. I mean, the name isn't sexy. This offense isn't sexy.
It isn't.
But you know what? They're going to run a lot through him. So Miles Sanders at the very tail end of the draft, he's going in, I believe, in like 8, 9, 10th rounds right now.
Right.
If he's there in that 10th round, you got to go grab a Miles Sanders. That's another guy right there. Also, don't be afraid of Jonathan Taylor. He's been passed up all the way up to like 6th, 7th round.
He's going behind Alvin Kamara right now on live draft trends, and it's because he's going to miss the first 4. Right, he's on the IR now with that. So I mean, you're giving up 4 games, but if you're drafting well, you should have 2 usable running backs to use before that.
Exactly.
I do think we're going to see an Eckler situation where, hey, sorry you can't find a trade target, but you're playing, brother. I don't have to tell you, you're playing for the Colts. We have a few questions though. Let's start up here though. We do have a few. We have Hanover Fist 1 says, what's your strategy on rookie RBs and wide receivers? Usually take a bunch of later rounds, but no, Bijan's going early. All right. So rookie running backs and wide receivers. I'm glad you brought this up, sir, because if you're listening on the stream, turn it up. Turn up the stream now.
Yeah.
Turn up the volume because I'm about to drop some knowledge on you right now for a player that you and I are very high on, who we said on this very show weeks ago when you were planning for your drafts.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you're looking at Bijan Robinson, you should also look at, who did I say?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Come on, baby. Jahmyr Gibbs. Listen to this. Being taken at the 12th overall by Detroit, the investment is not light. It's a big investment for a running back. We've seen the NFL disrespect running backs, right? Check this out. RBs, running backs, turn up the volume, people, drafted in the top 25 in the NFL draft in the last decade have finished as an RB2 all but once. Everybody has finished in the top 10 78% of the time and finished top 33% of the time. Mm-hmm. So stepping into an offense that saw, guess what? Oh, Detroit sucks. Detroit's a laughingstock. Detroit's this. They're not good. That's a time of the past, people, because this offense saw the most points from running backs last year. And Gibbs, even with Montgomery, there's still opportunity to eat in the receiving game and the rushing game. He is worth a look at your very much running back 2 and possibly could be your RB1 if you're starting off with no running back.
I've got Bijan and Jahmyr as my running backs in one league.
Jeez.
Both of the rookies.
Full rookies.
So
I like that.
I got them as my starting running backs in one league. And you know what? I'm not afraid of them because, like I said, the thing, I talk a lot of shit about Bijan Robinson. But
we talk a lot of shit in general on the show.
In general, I do.
Right.
But, you know, the thing with Bijan and Jahmyr, they're rookies, obviously. But where I know I can get the production is I know I'm going to get the dink and dunks from them.
Yep.
The PPRs are what's important when it comes to running back. So I can't go get a Derrick Henry early. I can't go get an Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, those guys early. I want to get the PPRs with these guys like a Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. Being able to get Bijan and then not get Gibbs until round 3, I'm thinking, all right, that is perfect right there. You left him for me. I'm going to take him. You're right, man. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to finish inside. You're talking about a Detroit Lions team that, and everybody can laugh out there. Laugh your ass off. I don't care. But they're being talked about as just more than a playoff team. They're actually being talked as a contending
this team
for the NFC team, for NFC representation.
Yeah, I mean, they're really, really solid, actually. Their coaching staff is great. If you watched Hard Knocks last year, it's hard not to buy in to that coaching staff. Another one late I would like to see people take more of. I want no part. I have no stock in Travis Etienne anywhere. I don't think he's a bad player. I just personally see the better value in that round with where he's going around. But Tank Bigsby is somebody I like too late for a running back later on whenever maybe you're looking somewhere else. Real quick before we go to more questions, though, I want to keep answering this one with wide receivers. Me and you have been talking Zay Flowers up all year, man. Yeah. Zay Flowers is a wide receiver we love as a rookie. Rookie wide receivers who go that high tend to usually outperform their ADP. We saw Chris Olave. We saw stuff like that. When you look at other rookie wide receivers, I think he has to stick out. Jackson Smith-Njigba, of course, has an injury. Yeah. Could he overtake Tyler Lockett? What do you think? To me, I think it's going to take maybe this year. I still think we see Lockett still locked in. No pun intended. But I do think Jackson Smith-Njigba maybe is a target in your keeper or dynasty drafts. Yeah. For redrafts, you can take him and see what he does. But if you find any production out of him, it's going to be a little bit later on in the year.
Yeah, so Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to actually, like you said, take over Tyler Lockett, but you give it a whole year. I'm actually giving it a couple of years, I think. It's going to be a couple of years before we get him to actually produce where he was at Ohio State. Let's be honest, Geno Smith has already targeted 2 guys. He's going to have those 2 guys targeted all year long. Geno Smith does not go through the checkdowns as the best the other quarterbacks do as well. So I have Jackson Smith and Jigba. Unless we see Tyler Lockett go down with an injury or DK go down with an injury, that's when he'll be able to step up, get more looks, more targets. Again, Seattle is a running team as well, so you're going to see, Kenneth Walker there. But one rookie in mind, you got to keep in mind, if you're going to go get Kenneth Walker, injury-prone guy, not probably going to be healthy the entire year, go get that Zach Carbonet out of UCLA, man, that backup. He is going to be a stud in this league. He's the next guy in Seattle. Remember those Marshawn Lynch days where you're, booming down and you break the tackles, everything? That's Zach Carbonet for you. He's not going to do it this year unless you see an injury, but I think from here on forward in dynasty leagues, Carbonet's the guy to get. But you're right about Jackson Smith. It's going to take him a while to get actually a wide receiver 2 there.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for the question. We're going to shout out to our sponsors real quick, but that question was a great one. I love it. So basically round it all out. Don't be afraid to take rookies. It's what makes fantasy football fun. Rookie running backs this year, the 2 ones you're talking about are Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs. Swing where they land. Do not be scared. Their ADP is there for a reason, and I think both of them could outperform, which means I think Bijan could be. This might be the cheapest time to buy in on Bijan and the cheapest time to buy in on Jahmyr Gibbs. Think of it that way, right? You're buying a premium, right? Not a premium, sorry, at a discount. Next year will be a premium. Swing on both of them. Swing on Zay Flowers. Swing on the Jalen Hyatts, the Justin Rosses, the Rashi Rices. Swing on them late. Yeah. Those guys are good for wide receivers. As far as early on, there's no wide receiver sticking now. Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave are now wide receiver 2s. So if you're talking about rookies or just young wide receivers in general, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave need to be drafted as possibly even your wide receiver 1s. Better yet, your wide receiver 2s. Those guys are going to go off as well. So let's shout out to our sponsors with our boy Joe Garcia, the best producer in the game. Real quick, Mad Pecker Brewing Company. We just told you guys we were there last week. I tried a Tiger's Blood IPA sour.
God, that was pretty good.
Boy. Goodness gracious. I thought I was at Mr. Cool on Marbach Road, baby. Listen, Tiger's Blood was fire. They had great drink shots at MF Doom. They love a lot of MF Doom hip-hop stuff over there. It was a really great place. I also had a spicy chicken sandwich that was lemon pepper tossed in buffalo. Goodness gracious. It was incredible. Lots of pizzas. Joe, you got a pizza, right?
Yeah, I got a pizza, man. I got a regular pepperoni. No, it wasn't pepperoni. It was a Supreme.
And Michael Jimenez got himself
the one with the Hawaiian with
pineapple.
The pineapple,
Come on,
man.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? But anyways, Matt Baker Brewing Company was a great time. We'll definitely be back, and we appreciate them as the title sponsor. They are awesome people and even better drinks and food. So with that, let's talk a little bit about your favorite coffee shop all around San Antonio. It is Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee Shop, a proud supporter of the Fantasy Gods and proud supporter of the UTSA Roadrunners for sure. Go check them out. Mudslingers is Dylan and Willin, the best coffee in town, as well as the most supreme mini donuts known to man. Mudslingers is the place to go grab your coffee. If you're drafting today, you need to wake up if you're doing a late draft because people are all over the place, right? Your college buddies are over there in Seattle and they're over here. And, if you guys are in different states, you need some coffee to keep your mind up. Mudslingers Coffee is where you need to go check that out. Mudslingers is there in Thousand Oaks. It's open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go check them out and make sure you go support them as they support your UTSA Road Runners. So, Bear County Social Apparel, our boys. I was rocking the Bear County Social Apparel shorts over there at Mad Pecker, and everybody was like, dude, where'd you get these? And I was like, that guy sitting right there drinking a Tiger's Blood with me? That's the man who made him. So shout out to Mike Baez and Bear County Social Apparel, the best T-shirts and gear that you could have. Everything from slides to hats, T-shirts, polos to sweaters, all that great stuff. Bear County Social Apparel has Brahma's gear, UTSA gear, some Cowboys and Astros stuff, and of course your San Antonio Spurs. They do have the best shirt known in the city, the Wemby de Guadalupe, who all of us need to get a pair immediately when we get a shirt. But we appreciate them for being sponsors of the show. We love them, and we love supporting them. Go check out Bear County Social Apparel everywhere on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all of our sponsors are available on social media. Go check it out and support local here in San Antonio. So we have a few more questions, man. Everybody's getting real active today.
I like this one, man.
Here we go. Chris Leha, our boy. I'm late to the show. One question. Why doesn't Rudy ever wear his team's colors? He embarrassed of his dirty birds? Damn. I like this. Also, Chris, Can we have a moment of silence for our Texas Tech Red Raiders, brother? Yeah, because I almost jumped off of 410 this morning, just reliving it. But I had to stop by Mudslingers first to get my coffee and it woke me right back up. But with that,
it's guns up, but they were just shooting blanks.
Oh, come on now. Anyway, Rudy, let's talk about your team, man. Why don't you? So, is it because they had the biggest blowout in Super Bowl history? Is it because
that's part of it?
They're just not very good? Is it because they're in a city that has an awful airport? What is it about Atlanta?
And I don't even know what he did with his Matt Ryan jersey, bro.
Oh, dude, he put it on ice.
That went to that was a good one. I shipped that up to Indianapolis when he went that way too.
So what's up? Why don't you rock your Falcons gear? I'm rocking the Randy Moss jersey.
Honestly, well, okay. So honestly, I mean, I go to church on Sunday, so
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to walk in there with a Falcons jersey or anything because not only will I go up in flames,
They're gonna be like, come up to the pew. We're gonna have to all pray.
Yeah, they're gonna want to have to rebaptize me when I walk into church wearing the Falcons gear, man. But I do. I mean, I've got T-shirts. I've got a lot of jerseys. I'm probably the only one that owns a Falcon Brett Favre jersey ever.
God,
so
man.
I mean, I got so many jerseys. I'll start wearing them, as we do. But I am wearing the Falcon gray. So you can't give me a lot of shit, Chris. I mean, I know what
Falcon gray.
Saints fan. So I mean, they do have a little gray on there. You got to give me some credit on that. But it's still MLB season. I mean, I got to support that.
That's fair.
So.
That's fair. We haven't started till Thursday. Thursday, you switch it to the gear.
I got to start till Thursday. Give me the off season still before my whole season just goes up in flames.
Yeah, we also had another question come up. We had Mario Cavazos. He said Cam Akers, Raheem Mostert, and Khalil Herbert decent in round 6, 7, and 8. Also a fair point. Khalil Herbert, you and I both like. He's a clear number one there. Cam Akers was on the absolute sleeper show that I did with Joe Garcia. That was a big one. He was one of my favorite sleepers. I love Cam Akers. The production is there. Potential is there. Nobody's behind him anymore like it used to be.
Yeah.
He finished last year, I think the last 4 or 5 weeks, as running back 6, I believe. So, I mean, he got really hot. You could attribute that to kind of them punting the season, saying, hey, we suck. That's it. But you still have Matthew Stafford, who checks down to running backs. You don't have nobody behind him. Cooper Kupp now, pretty injured. So, could be a big start to Cam Akers if you're drafting today or over the next 4 days.
Raheem Mostert's another guy that he mentioned as well. And, I do love Cam Akers. I have him in a few leagues. But the thing with Raheem Mostert is that Dolphins backfield is crowded, and it could even get more crowded if they figure out a way to get Jonathan Taylor there, which, again, I don't think they do. But you go on with Jeff Wilson Jr. is injured. He's going to be injured, I think, for the first 4 games. He's going to be out. That brings up Raheem Mostert. Not only that, you have the rookie Devin Achane there as well.
Yeah.
Out of the two, I would probably go with Achane over Mostert, but you're going to see Mostert get a lot of the work early in the season.
Yep.
But at the end of the season, it's probably going to be Achane and Wilson show. Mostert will probably be third back there.
Love it. So we also had an interesting one that I love these questions because normally people don't care. But, of course, our boy Chris Lehigh does.
Yeah.
Chris Lehigh said, what defense is the one to draft? Y'all got the details on the offenses, but what defense are y'all picking? I have a sleeper defense that I like, but I'm going to let you go take it first, man. I want to see what you think.
So what's kind of weird is in the drafts that I've done where there's a defense being picked, I'm always drafting defenses in the late round, either the last round or second to last round.
Gotcha.
This defense has been in every single draft, and I've drafted them probably.
I am going to die if we have the same one because it's.
Well, I hope not, but the one that I've been able to draft in majority of my leagues is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles are a top 3 defense going into this season.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out why are the Eagles just there? You're seeing San Francisco go. You're seeing the Cowboys go early, which, again, I can't argue with the Cowboys defense this year. You're seeing teams like the Saints, the Bills, the Dolphins all going early. The Jets is even another one that's going. But to see the Eagles there, I mean, you're talking about Jalen Carter. You're talking about Nolan Smith there. You're talking about a really good secondary. I'm really shocked as to why the Eagles are still there that late.
I like it. My favorite here is absolutely going to get sniped from me in my draft today because I have a lot of people listening. My league is blowing up my phone talking shit right now. So they're all listening, or most of them. So with that, the New Orleans Saints are my favorite defense right now. If you don't know by now, they have the easiest schedule based on Vegas forecasted win totals. What does that mean, Brandon? What that means is they're playing dog shit teams for the first 6 weeks. They're playing the Titans, Panthers, Packers, Buccaneers, and Patriots and Texans. Yeah. So, I mean, the first 6 weeks, you could see this team be absolutely vaulted into a top 3 defense. You're getting them basically free. Most of the time, they're going undrafted. I guarantee they won't be undrafted in my league because if I'm not taking them, someone's sniping them from me. But they also have positive regression coming their way. According to statistics last year, they dropped a lot of interceptions. They were almost 30th in dropped interceptions. Yeah. That's not going to happen again. They're going to get more interceptions. Hopefully, they return some of those for touchdowns. Also really solid when it comes to just their punt kicking team and their kick return team. So I do like the Saints. Not many questions about defenses get asked. We had to address the one that was there.
I got to say something, though. I kind of feel offended. I don't know if I'm ever going to come back to the show when you said the Saints are playing dog shit teams. I mean, the Falcons are in there.
Okay.
I mean, I know they're dog
Joe?
shit. I know they're dog shit, but I mean, you got to throw. I mean, throw a little respect on the
I
name.
know they're talking
Golly.
shit, but like,
We've showed up in Super Bowls and we didn't want any.
that's
I
fair.
mean, geez.
That's fair. What other comments do we have up there, man? I want to get through a few more. I know we had a few under that too. So what do we have? Someone said, "Is Deuce Vaughn a good pick?" I guess with their last one, but you could basically get him for free.
If you draft in 30 rounds, he's going to be in there somewhere.
He'll be there for sure. 3 drafts today, fellas. It's Christmas in September. Mario Cavasso says that's right. A lot of drafts happening. That's what I'm saying. One of the biggest ones. So, my boy Pri Delgado over there, he asked, "Who are you drafting with your first pick in your home draft?" He's in my draft.
Do you even know what pick you have?
I have number 8.
Number 8. Ooh, I will. Yeah, I won't spoil it.
Yeah, I won't spoil that one, but we don't know. Also, OC, these are all guys in my draft, actually. He said, "Who would you pick at the 4th if you had that pick?" Asking for a friend. So let me talk about this real quick. OC is one of the best guys. Yeah. One of the dumbest people I've ever met when it comes to the way he
one of the best guys, but one of the dumbest.
Check this. So this dude is about Deuce Vaughn's height, and he tosses the ball like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, this is what we did to decide our draft strategy. Right, my cousin Josh, who also is not the smartest guy, decided, let's get a bunch of people who are now, most of us are overweight. Right, everybody's out of their prime. Let's have a punt, pass, kick competition, right?
Yeah.
So Josh and OC, athletic dudes. So they do pretty well. OC punts the ball really well, kicks the ball, tosses the ball, I think 55 yards. I'm talking about like a solid throw. And so I'm like, damn, all right, OC. Then when whoever wins the competition, right? First, second, third, fourth, you get your choice of picks. So it's not where you're drafting. You get to choose because some people like to draft at 10, 9, 2, 3. OC wins this competition and drafts or chooses to draft at number 4, goes through all of this, all of this, and chooses to draft number 4. And to me, I hit him up afterwards. I said, "Hey, dude, not the worst draft pick. Don't worry about it." But till this day, everybody has been giving him shit, and it's the funniest thing in our group chat because everybody's like, "Man, could you imagine like going and choosing number 4? Like, could you imagine doing all this?"
Golly, dude, you know what? Your friend and I are gonna have to have a beer because
my God, don't
I almost agree with it.
Don't hype him up.
No, how is it?
Him up.
Look at your first 4: Justin Jefferson, Ja'Marr Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. You get a viable one with that last pick at the top 4.
Right.
You're not having to wait your ass to come back to number 1.
I'm not gonna help him because I despise the fact that I have to do this show and there's 4 guys on the fucking stream who are in my league. So I'm
not going to help him, but I'm saying,
well, what would you do? You can help him. With the 4th pick, who are you taking?
So the 4th pick, you're going to have one of those guys available. So obviously Jefferson or McCaffrey should go. Is it PPR? Like
it's PPR.
Okay, so 1 point per. Or
I think so. Yes, sir.
Point?
I think it's 1 point.
1 point per. So you're looking at probably Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, 1-2 in that league right there.
Right. Listen, a lot of UT fans, a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans in this league too. So I don't. Who knows? We could have some craziness, but should be Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, 1-2.
So you should have either McCaffrey or Eckler there. So I'm thinking it's going to be Eckler. So you go and get Eckler.
So you wouldn't even take the shot on Bijan.
No. Okay. If you have McCaffrey and Eckler there, Bijan is
so basically the number 4th pick. In your eyes, which I'm not going to disagree or agree, right? But number 4th pick should be rank him. Chase, if he's there, is the pick. If McCaffrey's out of those 3, just say perfect world, they're all there.
So if they're all there at 4, for whatever reason, Jahmyr Gibbs went 2,
Patrick Mahomes and
Dak Prescott went there.
Bijan went.
So at 4, if I'm working at PPR, I'm going Ja'Marr Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler.
Okay, fair enough.
So I can't argue with him being at 4. That's actually a really good pick, knowing there's 4 viable guys there.
You got your boys calling each other out. Look at OC.
Yeah, they're talking trash. Your girl didn't even let you go to the draft. Well, Jose did have a good question though. He said if you were in the 10th slot in the 10-10 spot, who are you taking? Again, I'm gonna have you answer for them because I don't want to help these guys. And then they're just gonna make me lose my fucking money.
Well, again, PPR league. I mean, you're gonna have to go probably. I'm seeing like Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb fall around there. So I would say if Josh Jacobs or Nick Chubb is there, you're going to go for them in the running back spot. Receiver spot, you may be seeing a guy like your
choice. So CD, AJ, Amon-Ra.
Because the 10-team league?
Yeah.
So you're coming back around. You can get your 1 running back and your wide receiver 1.
Well, it's a snake. So 10, you get the back-to-back picks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. You can still get
So perfectly, right? All those guys are available. Who are you going?
I'm going probably Nick Chubb
Okay.
at the 10th, and coming back around, if there's Stephon, CD, or Devontae, I'm going that. Getting me my RB1 and wide receiver 1.
Jose's not that smart, so he's not going to do that.
Get
Anyways,
Mario Cavazos at 4.
Mario said at 4, I would go with Austin Eckler. All right.
There you
No,
go.
that's exactly what we're saying.
Same.
Yeah, I agree. Whoever's there, for sure. Mario Cavazos, Chris Leah said, who fucking that for the Saints? Mario Cavazos said he loves the way we did our draft order. He said, awesome way to select a draft order. We appreciate it, man. It wasn't awesome being a part of it. Once I found out that 2 guys weren't there, I was like, I'm not gonna try. I'll just take whatever pick gets left. I was like, my ass is not gonna be punting and kicking.
Was y'all's thing sponsored by Ben Gay or something?
No, it should have been. It should have been. Goodness gracious.
The boy's still talking trash over
Yeah.
here.
Everybody's talking trash. Any more comments, sir, from none of these guys? I think we're good to go. I think we've caught up now. So with that, if you have any fun ways you guys have ever done a draft, as far as a way to select players or a way to select draft orders, or just for how you guys talk about, a loser, we love to hear them too. Anybody who has any crazy loser stories with it to do, let us know. But let's talk a little bit, man. We had a schedule, right? We had some sort of a schedule when we got off schedule. But with that, we were talking about running backs, right? How late? What's too late for a running back? We talked about a few that you and I liked as running back ones.
Yeah.
I am all in on James Conner this year, especially with Murray just completely out. I like that too. Let's talk about a position a lot of people swing on, and it's a major one. It's a onesie position. Do you need, in your eyes, in Rudy Campos' eyes, who plays in like 17 leagues a year, do you need, you've won a few championships.
Couple.
On all of those, have you had a top quarterback? Do you need a top quarterback to win your league? Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Do you need a Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, or Lamar? Those are the top 4 getting drafted in most leagues. Maybe it's not those guys, but do you need your quarterback to be finishing around those guys in that top 5 area to win that league? Or can you kind of punt the position like some people do and wait on quarterback and just draft great skill positions? What do you think?
So a lot of my most recent wins have been with Patrick Mahomes, and that's kind of it. I've been in some of the final Super Bowls, with Josh Allen, with Lamar Jackson. I was in one actually, I think a year or 2 ago with him. So honestly, when it comes to that, if it's Mahomes, you have a greater chance of winning your league if he stays healthy as quarterback. I've been in many leagues, and yours included, with Justin Herbert, and I've kind of yet to even, be consistent with that. So I'm thinking, when it comes to quarterback,
right,
just get a steady quarterback.
Yeah.
One that's going to get you there. Now, names get thrown out. Jared Goff's one of them.
Yep.
He's going to have a good year. Geno Smith is another one. He's kind
I
of
love me some Geno Smith.
kind of iffy, but I would go with Geno Smith.
Put Geno Smith in my veins, bro.
And
I love me some Geno Smith.
If you like Geno Smith, you're going to get some really damn good production out of a guy I drafted, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the receiving core there.
Yep.
He's got the tight end position.
You got Addison now.
You've got to
and
Matson.
Hawkinson's happy. You just got a contract, so even more of a reason.
He got paid. So you've got guys, and even I've seen a guy go super late. I've drafted him as my backup in a lot of leagues already. Yeah. That's Deshaun Watson out of Cleveland.
Yeah, Deshaun's going late.
You've got Amari Cooper there. You got Elijah Moore. I mean, you've got Nick Chubb. Watson, okay, I understand what happened with him, but he's back. He's going to get a full, he's going to be back, full strength. I'd love getting Deshaun Watson late.
I also think a name to think about, maybe not reach for. You can get him as your backup. It's not going to cost you much, but if you're punting the position and you're picking someone late, could we see, I would hate to, I'm a Vikings fan, but could we see a resurgence of Aaron Rodgers in that offense that has so many different options at running back, at wide receiver? If you're watching anything on the HBO Max on the what is the show called?
Hard Knocks. Dude, Hard Knocks makes everybody look good. Don't buy that shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard not to buy in, though, from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
Should you be looking at him for a backup position, or do you think there's better players? I agree, Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins around him.
Yeah, first off, Hard Knocks would make the Falcons Super Bowl loss to the Patriots look fucking amazing. I'd be crying and I'd be happy for next season. But as far as Rodgers goes, here's my problem is Rodgers is a right-handed quarterback. Why does that make a difference? Because the left side of the offensive line for the Jets completely sucks, and it's in shambles. Mm-hmm. When you have Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker on the right side protecting him, makes no damn sense. He's going to get hit on the blind side. Yeah. So until that offensive line shows that it can protect Aaron Rodgers, I'm drafting Aaron as my backup, and he's staying there forever until I can see that offensive line can protect him.
Fair enough.
You do have another comment.
Yeah,
here.
one more comment here. We have Ishan1 on YouTube saying a 1 point PPR. My RB room includes Jones. I'm guessing Aaron.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson. Antonio Gibson. And I'm guessing Rashad White. Thoughts on this room? I'll let you give your thoughts.
As a PPR, I like Stevenson. I like Gibson a lot. Brian Robinson in Washington is going to be the main workhorse, but Gibson's going to be huge when it comes for Sam Howell in the passing game.
Yep.
So as far as PPR goes, Gibson's probably one. Then it would be Stevenson, Jones, and then White. I still don't know how they're going to use Rashad White. I still think he's a workhorse back. I like the running back positions there. I'm hoping your receiving core is going to be stout with those guys right there.
Yeah, you should have stacked receivers.
Yeah, the receiving core should be stacked. But if I'm ranking them as far as PPR goes, it's Gibson, Stevenson, Jones, and White for me.
I actually really do like this room. It does look like you punted the position to about round 3 or 4, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at, probably 4.
Yeah.
I've seen Aaron Jones go in that 4 or 5 range. Stevenson's going around there too. So I would say Aaron Jones, Stevenson are great. I actually think you might have a solid case. I don't know bye weeks off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to do our top 10 commandments for fantasy. It's going to be one of them. But real quick, Aaron Jones, Stevenson, and White should be definitely, in my eyes, viable starters at your RB1, RB2, and maybe flex. Probably Gibson and White on your bench because I'm assuming you have some really solid receivers and maybe you have another flex option. But I do like it. I do think it could be stronger, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's a 10-team league or even better yet, a 12-team league, I do think you did not so badly, my man. So with that, real quick, last time, let's recognize our sponsors. We want to shout out good old Mad Pecker Brewing Company and all their drinks. They had us out there, and it was an incredible time. I really enjoyed all of the L's, the IPAs, the sours that we had. Again, we keep talking about this Tiger's Blood. God, it was incredible. We also had fun pizzas. Don't put pineapple on it, Michael Jimenez. We also had a lot of great food and good vibes, man. We appreciate you guys coming out there. Mad Pecker Brewing Company right there on Culebra. It was awesome. It was a fun time. Definitely go check them out. Great place to watch a game. Great place to grab a drink, even a better place to have some food.
Hey, and shout out to the owner, Jason, man. He was very accommodating.
He was such a great guy. Jason, you're the best, man, for sure. You're such a great dude. Was really approachable, even with the guests. He let some of our fans in early before the building opened. Just really, really good stuff. And then we also have Mudslingers drive-through coffee. Talk a little bit about Mudslingers, Rudy. I mean, you're a coffee guy.
I'm a coffee guy. I love the original coffee, the original Mudslingers coffee there that they have. But not only that, I mean, you've got some amazing drinks there. You got the new Sub-Zero, Frank Harris, obviously inspired.
Go support him. Go support him.
You got the Wemby drink, which is the Alien. I mean, you got Wemby coming to town. What better way to start than with the Alien? Not only that, we got a buddy of ours, Jeff Garcia, coming up with the OG OJ, Orange Julius from back in the day. Mudslingers got it as well.
I like
this. They've got so many great drinks. And you know what? I understand San Antonio. Hey, I was a big boy. I used to love my donuts. I used to love my little mini donuts. They have the absolute best mini donuts at Mudslingers. If I haven't made you get in your car and drive now, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. Head over to Mudslingers right now. Grab your drink, grab your donuts. It's the best way to start a day.
Absolutely. And also, if you're taking your girl to go see Barbie or any movie like that, go check out the Malibu Macchiato over there at Mudslingers. Also, white chocolate, blackberry, and spiced brown sugar, just like your boy here. So let's talk a little bit about Bexar County Social Apparel as well. Bexar County Social Apparel is our number one stop shop for all things San Antonio athletics, Brahmas, UTSA, Spurs, and more. Go check out Bexar County Social Apparel, proud sponsor of the Fantasy Gods, and also a close friend of all three of us. Great stuff, Mike Bias. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. We appreciate you. So we only have a few minutes left, man.
You have one more comment.
Oh, we have one more comment. Oh, from Ishan. We talked about his running back room. He said, with those running backs, my room is Tyreek Hill, Brown, Watson, Hopkins, Collins, and Sutton. Okay. Fair enough.
That'll do.
Fair enough. That would definitely do. That's solid. So this is a big one, man. This is a big one right here. This is massive if you're drafting. So you and I are going to go one for one, just back to back. Ready?
All right.
Top 10 commandments for fantasy football success. So listen up, everybody. Make sure you got a pen and paper, or even better, a chisel and a rock. We have top 10 commandments. We're throwing it back, right? Not to be biblical, but this is the Fantasy Gods, and you're in church right now. Top 10 commandments. Start off, sir.
So the biggest one for me, and the one I've talked about a lot, is thou shalt not worry about the bye week.
Yes.
You need to draft your players. You need the best player available. You need to do that. Don't worry about the bye week.
If there was an organ, I'd be playing it for you in the background.
Exactly. If you have every one of your players on bye week 13, week 10,
cares?
Who cares? It's 1 week. Nobody goes undefeated unless you're me in fantasy football.
Oh my God. Here we go. Rudy, Dude, Joe, tell him something, Joe. Tell us got to relax.
Well, you want to go ahead
he has too much mudslingers in his
the
system.
best trash talking you could do against Rudy is to actually beat him.
That's right. That's right. Which I've done.
Jimenez
Which
doesn't
I've-
know about.
Yeah, he
That's an
doesn't
old
know
story.
about-
Hey, did Jimenez draft?
Yes, he drafted in our league, our Beat the Gods league. That
I
was
thought he
a
would have
while
drafted drunk, but he was sober.
Yeah, he was sober.
He
man.
drafted every single Vikings player there was.
Jeez,
He was like, one
man.
of them's bound to go off. But yeah, I love that. Thou shalt not care about the bye week. I
Exactly.
love that very much.
Exactly.
All right, number 2 for me. Thou shalt know your scoring system. Right?
100%.
If you're in a PPR, is it half PPR? Is it full PPR? Right? Are you half chub or are you full? I need to know. So with that, you need to know the picks you're taking, who you're taking, why you're taking. And also, if you're one of those wonky leagues that Michael Jimenez likes to play in, where it's, you get a point for 100 yards of passing or 200 yards of passing, if you get 6-point touchdowns, 4-point touchdowns as a quarterback, all that stuff you need to know. You need to know how defenses are scored, kickers are scored, all that. It's very intricate. And to you, might seem like a tedious process, but could really bring home a championship.
Oh, yeah, 100%, man. 100%. You got to know your scoring system. If you don't know your scoring system, you've already committed the biggest sin
That's right.
in fantasy football. That is for sure.
God bless.
One more thing. Thou shalt not draft with your heart.
Oh,
And I say that because if
Speak
you
to
are
him.
100% Cowboy fan, your team should not have all Cowboys on it.
that's right.
You need to draft with your mind.
That's right.
Man, you shut your filthy mouth, bro. I
You
went
shut
ahead
your
and drafted.
filthy mouth.
I drafted Dak Prescott, man, because nobody wanted to get my boy.
did.
And there you
did.
go, Joe. I'm going
Joe,
to.
you also had like 4 drinks in you. And you
Yeah,
you
you
were
had
like,
4
I don't know
drinks.
about this.
Hey, man,
So-
but I drafted. I did a lot of the drafting on my own.
Yeah, you did. You
Yeah, I
did.
did all
I was
right.
proud of you.
Did I?
Because
Yeah.
you were like, this isn't my thing. Fantasies, y'all think without Jordan. I was like, okay, look at Joe.
The reason why I say this too is because I've had so many instances where I don't want to draft. I have people, I'm not drafting a Falcon because I'm a Saints fan.
Yeah.
But if you've got the best player like Bijan Robinson still there, he's
Why
making
would you
your
not?
team better. Who gives a shit about the reality? It's fantasy. So thou shalt not draft with your heart.
I love that.
I
love
picked.
that.
I had to get Dak, man. He was just sitting there, bro.
There's a reason why he was sitting there, Joe.
I know he was sitting
All
there,
right.
but I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna take it.
Here's another one, and this is for all of my home leagues. Thou shalt not draft a defense and kicker before the last 2
Oh,
rounds.
Jesus. I had one go in number 9.
Do not
Kicker.
do not be drafting kickers. If you're a Texas fan, Justin Tucker's there. Chill out. You can draft him
Who
later.
the hell drafts a damn kicker?
A lot
man?
of kickers and defenses
I got
going
proof.
around. You've seen it.
I've got proof from last night.
In
one
our
guy.
keeper league, someone went like
Yeah.
round 10 and took, and I was like, hey, what are we doing? But yes, do not be drafting
Oh,
kickers.
How
and
many
defenses.
points does a kicker get?
I'll tell you
dude?
what, sometimes we can
They-
talk about
sometimes they're made to
12
defend.
pointers. Usually you're talking about 5 to 6, 5 to 7, but
That's not
thou
bad.
shalt not draft a kicker or defense before your last 2 rounds.
I got one more before we go, and this is going to be kind of a crazy one here. But you know what? Fantasy football is supposed to be fun. So just like I did last week, because I had the best ball team and I have the best team in that thing, thou shalt roster bait if you drafted
Roster
a
bait.
100% winner. That shall have fun and roster bait and just go over that entire team and think you're going to win this damn league.
I love it. And number 1 for us,
No.
guys. I don't even know if we've done 10. I think we did like 8. But with that,
This is number 6. We got
this
it.
number 6. Okay, I'm gonna keep it going here. One of the biggest rules for me. Thou shalt take pleasantries in talking shit with league mates.
Exactly.
Right? A boring league nobody wants to play in. Have some fun. Talk some trash. Get out there. I mean, you have a few players over here that are a few comments in here on their own commandments. But yeah, I do think that's a big one. Do you have any more? If not, I can rattle off another few.
Go to one more. Go. You do one. I'll go another one.
Okay.
Give me a couple
For,
minutes.
for
here.
me, I'm gonna go ahead and say, thou this is a big one. Thou shalt not overreact to week 1.
Oh yeah.
Thou shalt not draft and drop your players based off of week 1. Let it go a little bit. Slow down. Long season ahead, boys and girls.
Yeah. And you know what? This is another one. Thou shall study the waiver wire. Thou shall study the waiver wire. Why? Because the waiver wire is your best friend. It is your Sancha for the year.
I like that.
You are going to be hooking up with that waiver wire
That's
probably
right.
more than your wife or girlfriend.
That's right.
This fantasy football, every fantasy football
Look
season.
at what Josh Vasquez says.
You
What-
got
what
it. There it
did he
is.
say?
Remember the
The
waiver wire day
to
keep it holy. Yes, you've got to. Thou shalt study the waiver wire because that is the reason why a lot of leagues and a lot of teams win They're leagues. It's a waiver pickups.
So now we're on 9 and 10. This is the last two, right?
Yeah,
all right.
9 and 10.
Here we go. These two are kind of just flyers, right? We're going off the cuff now. We've lost all of our plans. So I'm going to go ahead and say, thou shall be active with trade offers and trade block bait.
Yeah.
Do not just fall in love with your team, right? That should be probably the last one. Thou shalt not overlove your players, but thou shalt be active in trade rosters. If you're in a league with me, I've said this before, know that I am actively trying to screw your team. I'm never going to give you a trade that is going to not benefit me, but I will happily listen to a trade that you send that I think is stupid and benefits me. So I will be active with trade offers, trade acceptances, all that good stuff.
I am definitely trying to trade rape everybody in the league.
That's right.
I mean, you definitely have to trade rape people. If you can do it, do it.
I mean, you have to definitely be willing to take a limb and or to go on a limb and look at a trade offer a trade offer. But if you're offering me something, I'm assuming that you think you're getting the better part of it.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's going. And don't be the guy that calls your friends like, oh man, I'm really losing out on this trade. You should really look into it. Shut your mouth.
Dude, there's apps that you can type the trade in and the app will say that is a fair trade. That is a bad trade. That is I get that all the time from people. Well, this app says that if I trade you this guy, that I'm going to lose the trade. How in the F is that app going to tell you to lose the trade? It's based off of numbers.
Yeah.
Go by performance.
Yes.
So
like thou shall have fun. This is
and that's exactly what I was going to go with.
This is fantasy football.
Have fun.
This is fantasy football, and we want to wish you, as fantasy gods, the best in your drafts. If you have any questions, though, if anything arises, hit us up on Twitter, man. We're all active. You can hit up Joe at 2 Shots Podcast. You can hit up myself at Big Poppy Brennan and Rudy. Where can they find you, sir?
Twitter is at Sweep the League.
And it's at Twitter, not at X. Don't start that. All right, don't start with me.
At whatever.
At whatever. But hit us up on Twitter. We would love to help. Again, you have 2 Shots Podcast at Big Poppy Brennan. And again, Rudy, hit him one more time.
At Sweep the League.
That's right. This is the Fantasy Gods. We'll see you during the season next time. We'll see you next Sunday, and we're talking betting. So make sure you got your paychecks ready to roll, baby. We'll see you guys. Have a great draft day. Happy Sunday. Happy Labor Day. Peace.
Later.